ever wondered what the ideal woman is like? She's the embodiment of Proverbs 31, a woman who not only manages home and hearth, but gives back to the community in a very powerful way, making a mammoth difference in the lives of many. And today we have three powerful women with us to talk to us about how they embody Proverbs 31. The first guest is Beatty Burdett, who is from Candlelighters, and the second one is Taylor Moreno from Avante, and Arlene Carroll, who, although works for West Star Bank, represents the YWCA. Welcome, ladies.
Well, thank you for having us.
Yeah.
We appreciate it.
Yeah, but now I'm wondering what is your role with your agency, and how do you actually make an impact in the community?
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and start. My role with Candlelighters is I'm the Director of Development and Marketing, and it is up to me to make sure that we have the money to support all the services that we provide for our kids.
And you are basically working with kids who have cancer, right?
Right. That is our mission. We work with kids who have cancer, and unfortunately, we have about 400 kids in our program.
That many in El Paso? Wow.
That's 400. Too many kids.
Well, yeah. And so you provide all different kinds of services. I guess people don't realize the impact that it has on the family when a child has cancer.
When a parent hears, and I'm going to paraphrase what a parent said to me, when that parent hears your child has cancer, life completely changes. One of the moms said to me that what happens is all you hear is your heart beating in your ears. And all you think about is, oh my gosh, my child is going to die. Yeah. And that's how their reaction is. And so we try to come on board right away to be there to guide them through this journey. And our goal is to, no child should suffer through cancer alone.
Right, yeah. And Taylor, your agency, what is your mission and what's your role in that?
I'm the Executive Director at Avante, and our mission is to help families break the cycle of poverty through the integration of education, both at an early age. We serve children from 0 to 4 in an early childhood development setting. Then we also serve their parents at the same time.
So is that parenting classes and child care, or what exactly is that?
We have parenting classes, and then we have an actual learning environment for the children from 0 to 4, but we also offer ESL and GED classes for the parents.
Oh, okay. So it's a double duty sort of thing. While the child is learning, the parents advance.
Yeah, we're taking a 2-generational approach on education in our community.
That's exciting. How many people do you serve?
Right now we have 700 families that we're serving in 20, we're located within the schools, so we're 20 schools throughout El Paso County.
That's very exciting.
Yes.
And what is your role in terms of what is it that you do and you bring to the effort?
So I'm the director of the organization, and I oversee daily operations as well as, similar to Beatty, I oversee all of the development aspects as well.
And how did you get involved in this? You seem like a young person to be having that level of responsibility.
Well, I previously worked in Washington, D.C., and so our organization is a national organization, so I knew of it because of some advocacy work that had been done there. So when I moved back home, the opportunity presented itself to where I could apply for the position.
So El Paso's your home?
Yes, ma'am.
That's very exciting to be able to make a difference in your own hometown, right?
Absolutely. You can see a change in the children's lives in a very short time with our program.
Right. Now, Arlene, you have been I think one of the most active women in the community that I know. I mean, I think you've been on every single board in El Paso, or just about. But right now you have a huge responsibility with the YWCA. You want to tell us a little bit about the mission of the Y and what your role is with that?
Well, I sit on the board of the YWCA. I sit on the executive board. I'm vice president, and I've been on the board for about 3 or 4 years now, and the mission of the Y is just to empower women by assisting them with, well, it's a large agency, first of all. I mean, it's a large organization with many sub-agencies within the agency. And what I mean about empowering women is one of the facilities that we have, which is the Transitional Living Center. which helps women who are facing, problems in a domestic situation and they want to get out of it. and come to the Transitional Living Center, and they can stay there with their children, and the Y will help them to finish up their education and help them get a job. I mean, that's one aspect of the agency. We also have senior housing in our Lower Valley branch, and we provide senior housing for senior citizens. We offer consumer credit counseling services to individuals to help them get them back on their feet.
And there are also the after-school programs and all kinds of
that's
all
the
that.
child care program, the after-school program. In all of our branches, we offer, you know, affordable, quality child care. So it just encompasses so many opportunities.
And you have a huge particular responsibility this year, right? What is that?
Yes, I do. They asked me to be co-chair along with Estela Casas for the public phase of the capital campaign. And we were in the quiet phase for about 3 years, and we raised half of what our goal was, and now since we raised the money for half of our goal, now we're ready to proceed with the public phase. And it's been around 15 years since the Y has done any type of improvement to their branches, and we just felt that it was time.
It was time, yeah. So you're striking out to do that.
Yes.
How many, you have any idea how many people the Y serves? I mean, can you even?
I would say
thousands,
thousands.
Right? Yeah,
I really
thousands,
would. Between, you know, all the after-school programs at the school, I mean,
it's
thousands.
massive,
Yes, I mean, you know, we just had our women's luncheon, and
you know, when I think about this, and I just look at the women represented here, and then if I'm representing KSCE Channel 38. And we look at the number of lives that are just being impacted on a daily basis by really each one of us. Because KSCE, we can have up to 12,000 people viewing our station at any given time. And we know that they are viewing healthy, life-giving content that is going to make a difference in their lives in a very, very powerful way. So all of us are really about making a positive difference in people's lives. And I think that, to me, is very exciting to be up here with you and looking at this issue. So you know, I guess people may be wondering how I could have, you know, different agencies here being represented, because aren't you all competing with one another? You know, isn't it dog eat dog out there trying to get you know, raise money from people and so forth? How does that work? Give us some insight into how you raise funds and get support and work together, or not.
Absolutely not, because I know Taylor and I have worked together on different funding activities, and we support each other. You know, our community is a really large community, and there is an interest and a connection with a donor, and my donor may not connect with Taylor's donor because everybody's got their own passion and interests. So I think it's absolutely possible for all of us to be raising money. I think ours is a very generous, caring community.
oh, definitely.
And they understand the need, and they get involved not just financially, but they get involved as volunteers and support the organization. We, I know, could not do all that we do with 400 kids and 1,400 families. We couldn't do it with just our staff. We need our volunteers, and they're such a critical part of what we do.
Well, in addition to, you know, funding from the community, and I wholeheartedly agree with you, there's just so many generous, caring people here in El Paso. There's another source of funding is through grants, and I think a lot of the nonprofits, if they have the opportunity, they will apply for grant funding also.
Exactly.
Well, and even nowadays at a state and national level, they look highly upon collaborations, and so in order to be competitive for those grant funds, you have to show that you partner with other agencies and you know, the government sector in order to make that program effective. And so I know we run an operation where we have AmeriCorps members, and they receive child care through the YWCA. And so you know, we've been able to partner with them so that these women can then come and serve for us in that capacity.
So you're actually working together as a network, a safety net hitting various elements in the community that have particular needs, and your agency has a passion for meeting that particular need, and then works with other agencies who fill other niches, so to speak. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, much,
Yeah.
yeah. And just to give you an idea, I mean, West Star Bank is probably one of the biggest corporate supporters of all of us, and not only, again, like I said, in the financial support, but also having volunteers on our boards, serving on our committees. We've got a golf tournament coming up, and West Star Bank is our presenting sponsor.
Yeah,
so we work together. I mean, this community works together. They really do.
Now, on the topic of being a Proverbs 31 woman, how do you, briefly, how do you balance home and hearth and these more than full-time callings on your life?
You know, we were kind of laughing earlier, do we really balance?
Yeah.
Because we get so involved and so passionate about our causes that it becomes almost all-consuming. And thank goodness for friends who keep you balanced. I happen to be a single woman, so my home life is a lot simpler. But at the same time, it also makes it more difficult because I have more time.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
When growing up, giving back to the community was always something that was big with my family, and so having the support of my family, from the beginning. And I recently got married, and so it is a little bit of learning how to balance everything. But my husband understands, that my job is an 8 to 5, but there's times that he can come and be a part of my job and on evening events and so forth, and so you make it work.
Right. Now, Arlene, you have children and a husband. How do you make that work?
Well, my husband is just wonderful. I mean, he really helps me because I don't think I could get it all done without his help. And you kind of, what you said, I mean, going back to why I'm so involved is because I got that from my mother. My mother was, although she was a stay-at-home mom, she really gave back to the community, and she received the Volunteer of the Year award, and that just was really inspiring to me. But so anyways, so that's why I do what I do, plus I have a passion for it, and it is a balancing act. And not only do I have the support of my husband, but also the support of West Star Bank, because they're there to support me, and they understand that I'm going to be out of the bank for a couple of hours, going to board meetings and so forth, and especially with this new role that I'm taking on, they've been very supportive of me.
So how do you feel like KSCE is vital to the community in this whole endeavor? Do you have any thoughts about that?
I have watched your program many times, Holly, and I've been familiar with KCSE for many, many years. And we need the support of the stations, and it's a great programming. I mean, it's just excellent programming. So, of course, I encourage everybody to support KCSE, just like you support us, in what we do.
Right.
So,
yeah, we do make announcements.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so forth on our community bulletin board.
Absolutely. I think, by us supporting KSCE, you offer programming that's impactful for our community. And so it's similar to what we do every day, that we're impacting lives, and the programs that you have are doing just that. And so the community needs to come around and support your organization.
Right.
It's a circle. I mean, we give back to the community, and KSCE is certainly doing that, and we're all ministering to each other and to the community.
Okay. Well, ladies, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you. And thank you for having us.
Yes. What do you think? Do you feel like you've met 3 Proverbs 31 women? Well, I think that we are all inspired by their stories, and we hope that you will continue to watch as we come back after this brief break.
Isaiah records, God, you're not going to humble us. We are not going to return to you. We are not going to repent.
welcome back. We have 3 more Proverbs 31 women with us right now, and you're going to hear their stories about how their lives impact the lives of so many women and children through the agencies that they serve. And so today we want to welcome, first of all, Sister Helen Santa Maria with Via Maria. And also we have Barbara Parker, who is with CASA.
Yes.
And then we also have Stephanie Flora, who is with Susan Komen. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Yeah. Now, each one of you have very diverse agencies, but you do have one thing in common, which is you advocate for women and children. Is that correct, for the most part?
Yes.
Yeah. Right. And so, Sister, can you tell us what is the role of Via Maria in the community, and how do you function in that capacity?
Okay, Via Maria is a residence for women that are homeless but without children.
Ah, okay.
It's where they can transition from crisis to self-sufficiency while living in what we consider a beautiful, safe, supportive, and spiritual community. Okay. And so we can house 22 women. The secret is that most of them have children, but they don't have jurisdiction of them during the time that they're with us.
Okay.
And most of them have been through very difficult times.
Right. Some form of crisis. How long do they typically stay with you?
Typically, they stay between 10 and 12 months. They can stay as long as 2 years. We're celebrating our 5th anniversary this year, and only 2 women have stayed 2 years.
So that's actually a fairly unique situation, that where women can really have a place to stay for a lengthy period of time to get their lives back together.
Absolutely. And tell them they're very blessed, because women hardly ever have a chance to focus just on themselves.
Yes, that's very true. And what is your role with that?
I serve as the executive director, and that oversees all the operations, the raising of funding, representing the facility to the public. Right. We have a full-time case manager that handles every single case of the 22 women that we house.
And are the women usually placed with you via the court or social services, or is it a variety of?
Variety.
Yeah.
Yes, we have them come from the courts. They come from substance abuse programs. They come from social mental health workers and domestic violence. Such a high percentage coming with that kind of background.
Very important function in the community. Now, Barbara, can you tell us what is it that you do, and what is it that your agency does?
Okay, I'm a volunteer with CASA, and CASA stands for Court-Appointed Special Advocates. We advocate for children that are in the system through neglect and abuse and have been removed from their homes. We do have a paid staff with an executive director here in El Paso, but the vast majority of our staff are volunteers, and we always need more volunteers. And there are 500 plus children in the system at the present time, and the goal is nationally and locally as well as statewide to have a CASA for every child.
So that would be 500 volunteers. Or close
that
to it.
500 would be wonderful. Some of us work more than one case at a time, and some of the cases are siblings, and so
you're able to
yes,
do
yes.
both. Yeah.
So,
okay. So maybe not 500, but close would be nice. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, did you have to go through a lot of training to be able to do this?
Yes, we go through almost 40 hours of very concentrated, intense training. Part of that includes classroom training. We also have to do a lot of court hearing observations, court trial observations, and that type of thing. And when we graduate and are actually appointed by the court, then the judges in the family court actually appoint specific volunteers to specific cases.
Why do we need this kind of individual in the system? I mean, don't the children have attorneys and social workers and that sort of thing?
They do. They have all those things. But a child's caseworker probably has 40 cases, 40 plus cases. So CASA is that voice. CASA is the constant. CPS caseworkers, there's a tremendous amount of turnover in that agency, so caseworkers change, attorneys change. CASA, when they are appointed by the court, they take on and make the commitment to stay with that child from the beginning of the process to the end of the process when they have permanent placement.
Right. And how long could that usually be?
Well, the ideal is to have them in permanency within 12 months. In fact, that's really the law. Under special circumstances, they can request an additional 6 months. But if, for a variety of reasons, those children remain in the conservatorship of the department, they can age out, which is not what we want. I have a child that I've had for 7 years.
My.
Yes, and she will be aging out.
Right, yeah.
So that's why it's so important, because first of all, children who are in the system are very needy, or they wouldn't be in the system.
Right.
You know, because they've either been abused or neglected. And the majority of these children have very specific, intense needs. And there just isn't enough manpower to go around to seek and to find all the services. And that's basically what a lot of what I do with my work is to seek out the resources for the services they need.
Okay. Now, Stephanie, you're with Susan Komen. That's a name that most people are familiar with. Can you tell me a little bit about what you actually do here in El Paso and what your role is?
Absolutely. I'm the executive director for the El Paso affiliate of Susan G. Komen for the Cure. And we are proud to say that we have a presence here locally. We do have a large presence nationally, but locally we have 3 staff. And we are committed to supporting those facing breast cancer here, as well as educating those on the risk factors and early detection of breast cancer in this community. So it ranges what we do, but we're helping those men and women faced with that today.
And that's a pretty significant role. So you actually do help individuals and provide support and that sort of thing for individuals. It's not just running races, so to speak.
Well, and what we like people to know is that the race that is run every year, 75% of those funds stay locally. So it's not just that we raise funds to support research looking for the cures, and although that is wonderful and important and we support that, a large bulk of the money stays here. So we can help those that need help with mammography, they need help with treatment, transportation. They don't have the funds to go out and get the surgery once they've been diagnosed. And so we want to be able to provide those funds so that the men and women are supported at the time of diagnosis and they don't have to worry about what to do now.
Right, yeah. Now again, the 3 of you are meeting very diverse needs in the community. What do you think about the importance of working together or the synergistic relationship that nonprofits and agencies have with each other? Have you experienced that in what you do as well?
We couldn't survive, really, for all the services that we need for our women and all the other agencies that serve homeless. There's an incredible collaboration that goes on. And then just with other nonprofits, you can always feel free to call and get the information. And you almost, I would say 100% get a positive response.
Yeah. And so are you finding that other agencies are also supporting what you're doing with Susan G. Komen?
Absolutely. We collaborate with so many different organizations, and we grant funds to a large number of organizations dedicated to breast health services. And there's so many underserved and uninsured in this community. To partner together is necessary, and it's in order to make a greater impact.
Right. Yeah. What do you think about the role of KSCE with regard to the missions that you guys are trying to accomplish? Do you think we have a role in terms of supporting what you're trying to do and you supporting what we're trying to do? Is that important?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Barbara? What?
Absolutely, I think it's important, because the one thing, as I said and listened to the other women that were here, and most all of us are involved with nonprofits. You're a nonprofit. And the thing that I've found in the work that I've been doing this for 8 years, as people that are involved in that type of work are extremely passionate people.
Yes.
And because of that, there is this great collaboration
Right.
and meeting so many needs. And when I work with my children, I may find and come across a parent or a relative that's going to need her services, or and it's wonderful to have these resources and know that you can pick up the phone and call and say, I really need your help with this.
Yeah. Right.
And your services we don't have.
Right.
So we love this kind of exposure.
Exactly.
It's very,
Exactly.
very wonderful.
Yeah.
And I think what's great about KSCE is that we may be able to fill the educational, breast health, housing needs, but the spiritual needs go just as hand in hand and really help the well-being of each person in this community. And I think that that's where we each play our part.
Right, yeah. And we definitely have, I would say probably 70, 80, 90 programs. I haven't counted them all. At least that air each week, and every single one of them deals with a particular human spiritual need. They all impact and transform lives in some way, shape, or form. And so that's what we're all about, I think, is transforming lives. Absolutely. And making the greater El Paso Juarez area a better place for all people. And serving the community. And we certainly do appreciate the passion that you bring to the work that you're doing. And that's something that I think is wonderful about nonprofit agencies compared to experience with the quote-unquote professional bureaucratic government agencies, where I think people get discouraged and burnt out who work for a lot of those agencies because the loads are so overwhelming and the bureaucracy and everything. But I find in the nonprofits, people are just so passionate about what they're doing, and you're kind of entrepreneurial and making ends meet and getting creative and networking and that kind of thing in a way that is, I think, very exciting for people. And
yes, it's the first time that I've worked.
But that's why you're so important.
Exactly.
Well, good.
Just going to say that's why. It's the first time that I've actually worked with this particular population. I've been in administration for many, many years, and I'm just awed. I'm awed with exactly what you're saying, because that you experience on a daily basis.
Yeah, right. Well, ladies, our time is up, and thank you so much for being with us, and we really appreciate the work that you're doing. So what do you think? Have you learned something about the wonderful work that is going on here in the greater El Paso Juarez area on behalf of those who are needy? I'm excited to meet these Proverbs 31 women, and I hope that you will continue watching as we talk about the ways that KSCE serves our community. Thank you.